Hi all of you wonderful people and welcome to Simply Scuba. Today I'm answering a bunch of people also ask questions from Google about scuba diving and snorkeling to help educate the world a little bit more. So let's dive straight in with the first question. Why do divers wear belts? To hold our trousers up, but in the water it's to help us actually get down under the water. The human body and all of our diving equipment is surprisingly buoyant, so we float a lot, especially neoprene. So we need to carry lead blocks to help us actually sink underwater. These lead blocks are strapped onto a weight belt or sometimes in weight pouches in our equipment to help us sink. We want them quite close to our body and our center of buoyancy so that the weight doesn't affect our position in the water too much. And where the lead is on our body often determines what position we actually sit in the water. Both the weight belts and the weight pouches will have some kind of simple quick release buckle mechanism so that you can ditch that heavy lead when required. As the mafia can probably attest, allegedly, by attaching heavy weights to somebody in the water isn't always good for their long-term health. So any scuba diving weight system will have a simple quick release mechanism so that you or your buddy can get rid of those heavy weights at a moment's notice and you can safely float. Why do divers wear snorkels? Not all of us do, but a snorkel is a very useful tool on the surface. A snorkel helps a diver to see into the water by looking downwards without wasting any of our valuable gas in our cylinders. So if you're searching on the surface for something or like where to start your descent, then you don't want to be wasting the gas on your back when there's plenty of just free air right next to you. A snorkel gives you access to all of that free gas and you can spend a little bit longer actually under the water now because you haven't been wasting that gas inside of your cylinder. Snorkels are also very useful after the dive. They help you to control your airway and keep it a bit higher up out of the water. With waves splashing about, your mouth is usually the first thing that gets hit by a small wave, and if you're inhaling at that time, it's not good for you. A snorkel means that waves have to crash quite a bit higher before they actually get to your airway. Snorkels are also useful for in-water rescue breaths if you're a rescue diver trained, but for the most part, it's basically there to save tank gas and it gives us better control of our airway on the surface. Do you have to breathe through your mouth when scuba diving? Pretty much, yeah, you have to become a bit of a mouth breather on standard scuba. Your nose has to be covered by your mask so that you can equalize your mask as you descend. With your nose all covered up by the mask, you can't sniff very much, so you tend to inhale and exhale through your mouth for the entire dive. But it doesn't feel weird, you kind of forget about it before long, you get used to just becoming a mouth breather. If you desperately want to breathe through your nose during a scuba dive, you can go down with a full face mask. You can go down that route. Because they cover your entire face, the nose and the mouth are usually in the same section and you can inhale and exhale through either. You can even talk in a full face mask, but for most second stage designs, you're going to find a mouthpiece that sits inside of your mouth. You don't really bite down on it unless you really have to, but a good mouthpiece will just kind of sit inside of your mouth without you needing to chew on it to hold it in place. But typically, yeah, you breathe in and you breathe out through your mouth during the dive. Why do divers spit in their masks? Because we're disgusting. No, spit is surprisingly good at stopping our masks from fogging up. Just like windows on a chilly day when it's warm and humid inside and cold outside, moisture in the air condenses on that glass, and on the inside of the mask it means that we can't see where we're going and you can't exactly take your mask off and give it a wipe. So spitting in your mask, wiping it around and then giving it a quick rinse can help to affect the surface tension of the water so that those little molecules doesn't condense on the inside during the dive. There are less spitty alternatives. Today we have defog sprays that are much more efficient. Actual film material that you can stick to the inside of your mask, a bit like a protector for your phone. And we even have masks now that have internal seals in clever places and heat sinks to help redirect airflow and everything to just help prevent your mask from fogging up. But if you don't have any of those and you forget your defog spray at home when you go to the dive site, then of course you've always got your spit, and it's free. And yeah, it's just hard to leave your spit at home. How often should you check your SPG? More often than a lot of divers actually do. Checking your gauges frequently can alert you to faults long before they become critical. Now, you don't want to be checking your gauges once every minute because that just gets annoying. You want to enjoy the dive, not read your pressure gauge. But probably about every 5 to 10 minutes or so, and usually after some kind of event, I like to check my gauges. For diving in clear, open blue water where you're not touching anything and it's unlikely that anything's going to be touching your equipment, then every few minutes should be fine. It's just good to check it from time to time, just have a glance. But if you bump into something or something bumps into you, you swim through something, if you enter a shipwreck or when you exit a shipwreck, or you swim close to a reef or something to look at something and then come back out, I usually like to check my gauges then after an event. If the level is substantially lower than you were expecting, then there could be a small leak in your system that's draining pressure faster than usual because someone's bumped a hose or something, whatever it is. And it's better if you catch that earlier. Your submersible pressure gauge can be a great diagnostic tool for various issues. If the needle quivers or drops when you breathe, then your tank valve isn't open properly. If the needle is in exactly the same position as it was 5 minutes ago, that needle could be stuck and be giving you false readings, so you think that you've got more gas than you actually have. Check your gauges before the dive, right after you jump in, because that's quite a big sort of jump when you get into the water, and then every 5 minutes after that, and then if you bump into something, because those should be your standard sort of things, because it may have damaged your gear. But yeah, for most diving, clear blue open water, 5-10 minutes or something, or just get a wireless air transmitter and it just alerts you if something goes wrong. And there we have it, 5 more internet questions answered. One day we'll finish all of the questions on the internet. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions, then let me know down in the comments below and add the hashtag AskMark to get your question featured in the Friday Q&A. Take this time to click that little like button if you liked the video, and the dislike button if you disliked the video. That's how the buttons work. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And then of course, head over to our website, simplyscuba.com. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.